All right, off rip, Dragon's Dogma 2 is a great game, right? It has amazing combat, exploration. It's the best slave simulator since 1600s America, and this time I get to be the master. Holy shit, boy. Now, a lot of people have issues with Dragon's Dogma, like the performance issues, the microtransactions, but to me, that sounds like small penis problems. You see, those problems take away from the big issue, which is Dragon's Dogma 2 is a great game that offers nothing new, isn't a sequel, and it made you waste your money. I wasted my money too. Now, I noticed a little too late that Dragon's Dogma 2 was pretty much Dragon's Dogma 1 with a BBL and a little bit of makeup. Fake ass, but that fake ass looks amazing. Oh my God, fake titties, and them fake titties look, anyway, I want to just compare and contrast the two games, you know? Like with the skills, for example. In Dragon's Dogma 1, if you press L1, you get 3 skills, and if you press R1, you get 3 skills. That's 6 skills. Oh my God, can you believe it? But in Dragon's Dogma 2, you only get 4 skills and 1 baked-in skill. You press L1, you get your 4 skills, and then you press R1, you get that 1 baked-in skill that comes with each vocation. It dampens the game. I'm gonna go into why it dampens the game, but it really just it's just less skill. It really is just less skills. It's just less skills, and why are they taking things out? The thing that really maybe bothers me a lot is that we have 2 run buttons. Why do we have L3 as a run button and then the circle as a run button? The circle could have been the baked-in skill for each vocation, and then that would have been an upgrade. That would have been so goddamn nice. But no, we are being punished for spending $75. I don't know why. Goddamn, what did I do to deserve this? Now, when it comes to vocations, I feel like a woman that's trapped in a man's spot. No, I feel like a woman that's being gaslit by Daddy Capcom. I'm like, hey, like, you should do better for us. You should treat us better. And then Daddy Capcom's like, bitch, didn't I give you fucking 10 vocations? You had 9 in the last game. We gave you 10. Be happy. Shut the fuck up. That's how I feel. I feel like a woman being abused, basically. But what they fail to tell you, right? Sure, you get 1 new vocation. Like as far as numbers go, you get 1 new vocation in Dragon's Dogma 2. But they got rid of Mystic Knight from Dragon's Dogma 1. First of all, why get rid of anything? Sequels are supposed to add on to stuff and make things better. But they got rid of Mystic Knight, and then they took Assassin and Strider, hacked their limbs off, mashed them together, and made a Frankenstein monster, which is the Thief. Which the Thief is sick. I do love the Thief. I ain't gonna lie, but there's nothing new and there's nothing really improved on. Honestly, they took away some things, but we'll get to that later. Now, again, to be fair, in Dragon's Dogma 2, we have 3 new vocations. We have the Mystic Spare Hand. Mystic Spare Hand is sick. I love the Mystic Spare Hand. Mystic Spare Hand, if vocations were in high school, the Mystic Spare Hand would be the cool, rich quarterback who's actually pretty damn nice, but he's gonna peak in high school. This is the end of the road for you. Sorry, buddy. Now, if you had 6 skills, you could go to great lengths, but we only have 4. I'm pissed off about that. That shit makes me mad. Now, the Trickster. Oh my God, it sucks. If you're a weenie and a coward, you'll love the Trickster. It does a little dance and it seduces bandits and goblins, and to be honest with you, that's gay. Now, nothing wrong with being gay. If you're gay, tell your father, don't surprise him. But my issue with Trickster is that it's just too it's too passive. It's just way too passive. It's like, let me do my little dance and then let my AI companions take care of all the work. It's not fun. It's lame as hell. Now, what you can do, you can make your enemies jump off of a cliff, but nowadays you can do that with the internet and a mean sense of humor. Now, that's fucked up. Don't do it. But it's a lot funner than Trickster. All right, now that leaves us with the Warfare. The Warfare is the autistic guy, you know, lots of potential, but just little issues that's just holding him back. Like, he can do everything but look people in the eye. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of what the Warfare is like. It has the great idea of taking all of the other vocation skills and then mashing it to one to make your customizable vocation. It's really cool. But the issue is that if you want to use a vocation skill, you got to have their weapon equipped. So if I want to use thief skills, I got to have daggers equipped. If I want to use mage skills, I got to have a dildo equipped. That's just how it works for the Warfare. Now, they give you a skill to cycle through weapons, but if you equip that skill, then you only have 3 skills left. And then you plug in those 3 skills from different vocations, and then it just doesn't feel like a complete class. Now, if I had 6 skills, like in Dragon's Dogma 1, then I got 5 skills to work with to actually make a pretty cool class. Now that I think about it, the warfare is just the assassin, the magic archer, and the mystic knight just mashed into one limp mess. Like if you look at the assassin, right, the assassin could use 3 weapons. It could use daggers, it can use a sword, and it could use a short bow. The mystic knight could use maces, which is pretty much for warriors, and then it could use a sword, and it could use a staff. And then the magic archer, he can use a staff, or she or they, my bad, but they can use staffs, they can use magic bows, and they could use daggers as well. It's just so much depth, and then they just took it way down, again, mashed into a ball of just mess, and then, you know, that's the warfare. Just something with a lot of potential, but it just doesn't meet that potential. Also, I forgot to mention that they took away skills. Like, for example, with Assassin and Strider, they took away a really cool animation cancel skill, something that's really in-depth. I don't know why, but it just feels like they're lopping off my nuts. If you get one of your testicles cut off, right? Say you have let's say you have testicular cancer, you get one of your nuts cut off, right? What happens naturally, you can look this up, is your healthy ball becomes a weapon of mass destruction. It becomes very large. We call it the wrecking ball, and it can do any type of damage it wants to do. That's great, but I'd rather just have 2 of my nuts. That's exactly how I feel about Dragon's Dogma 2. It's like, yeah, sure, you gave us 1 new vocation. You know, now we have 10 vocations. Now we have the Meister skills. The Meister skills are cool. I mean, they're there, and that's nice, but it's just not enough. Like, I just want my 2 balls back, and hell, give me a 3rd nut. Why not? You know. You know what I'm saying? I'm so giggly over that. It's so stupid, but that is what it feels like. It just feels like they're just taking away and then saying, oh, but here's like kind of a substitute for that, and it's not a sequel. All right, now let's talk about the pawn system. The pawn system is probably the only area that I think is like substantially upgraded. First of all, you can make whoever you want to be your pawn. And I know there's a lot of freaky ass dudes out there, but I can't blame them. Make my dream girl, turn her to a slave, make her do whatever I want. I mean, there's no other way to go, man. There's no other way to go. But if I'm being honest, and if I'm being serious, the character creation is insanely good. It really is. Not only for your pawn, but for you as well. Now, also, pawns, they can help you a lot. See, what happens is when you go to sleep, your fucking pawn cheats on you. It has sex with all these other different people. But it comes back because, well, it has no choice. And it says, oh my God, I'm so sorry. How about instead I show you a chest just to show how sorry I am. And it will do that. It says, hey, I seen a chest. Follow me. And then they'll lead you to a chest, or they'll lead you to a rift stone or a cave that you haven't discovered, all from cheating on you. Infidelity. It sucks, but it comes with benefits. Yeah, see, my pawn led me to this chest, then this dumbass thinks it's his. Get the hell out of here. Anyway, it's mine. Thank you. You're forgiven. Thanks. Sometimes the pawn guide doesn't always work. You'll tell them like, okay, all right, lead me, and then they'll like not lead you. They'll actually end up following you. So it's not the most perfect thing, but again, it's there, and that's really cool. Yeah, like right here, he's gonna be like, yo, here's a chest. Come. And I'll be like, yo, all right, fine, show me. But instead he'll think like I'm just telling him to go forward, you know? Also, too, they have various ways of helping you in combat. Like my pawn, she was a warrior and a fighter for most of the time, and then she would have an ability that flings me up into the air so I can land onto an ogre's head, you know, all types of shit. It's really fun. It's really dynamic. Yeah, I just wish we had more examples of that though. Like imagine if like the mage can levitate you and hurl you down to like a pool of enemies, or like a thief throws you a stick of dynamite and then you can throw the stick of dynamite to like enemies and then they blow it up. Let's cause terror and disaster. It would be so fun. Oh, imagine if the sorcerer, right? It says, hey, come here, Resident, I need your help. Grab the stick. Oh, yes, that's it. And then y'all shoot like the craziest Kamehameha money shot on like a goblin. I'm being a little silly, but all these like ideas would, I mean, I'm stroking my own dick at this point, but all these ideas would be kind of cool. Like these would be cool to see more interactive team things with your pawn. They are there, but I would just want way more of it. They also catch you like when you like peep this. It's so cool. Watch this. What a bitch. Wow. But look, she makes up for it. Wait. After she's done talking about money and items, look, watch this. She makes up for it. I don't want to live anymore, guys. I'm done. And then she catches me. You have so much to live for. You're so handsome. Yeah, so it works sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't. Now, changing your pawn's traits is better in Dragon's Dogma 1. You had a thing called the table of gaslighting. You could take them into like a table, and then you can just like switch their fucking their personality and how they fight. You can just be like, I feel like I'm doing all the work and you're not helping, and I just wish you loved me more. And they'll actually change their tune, and they'll do whatever you want. It's so fun to gaslight your pawns. It's so fun to gaslight. It was really a lot easier and a lot more in depth in Dragon's Dogma 1. In 2, you get things called specializations, which there's only a few of them in a playthrough. That's number 1, and you override them. So if I have one specialization that lets me like talk to elves, or lets my pawn talks to elves, and then the other one that makes my pawn heal me, I gotta choose out of one of those. If I choose one over the other one's getting overwritten, and it sucks because again they're limited in playthrough. Now, I almost forgot, there is a thing called the Dragon Clap in Dragon's Dogma 2, where like it makes your pawn just a sassy motherfucker, but I like that. But it makes your pawn really sassy and really mean to you, and it disobeys you, and it can spread to other pawns. I do think that's cool. So be careful when you like select pawns from other worlds, because they can have those nasty germs, and then they can spread them to your pawn, and then your pawn's saying, oh man, I'm not making your dinner, I ain't doing nothing for you. Yeah, so that's a thing. So as you've seen in the last clip, the only way to cure Dragon's Clap is by killing them. Throw them down a flight of stairs, throw them down a cliff, drown them. Right here, I actually drowned my pawn. I don't play around with that shit. Ooh, you got the nasty ass dragon herps. Get the fuck out of here. Learn your lesson, then you can come back. Now, before she like actually walked out of the river somehow, I don't know. So like I go back here to make sure she's dying so I can live a single life. Yeah, she's out of here. Party time. Woo! Party time, everybody. The bitch is dead. The witch, she dead. Gothic ass bitch ass witch. Now, how I wish you could really bond with your pawn is through the camps. Like when you're making camp, right? It would be cool just to actually like almost play like a dating sim. It's like oh, how do you feel today? And then you can like reply away, and then they reply away, and then it just slowly builds up your pawn's affinity. They like actually feel like you're with one of your friends, because that was their whole gimmick with this fucking game. That was their whole quote unquote vision. So it would have been cool to go into like the camp and like actually build a bond with your pawn. That would be really cool. But no, when you go to camp, you just eat meat and then you fall asleep, and then done. Now, I'm talking too much about this, but pawns talk way more. Oh my God, they talk so fucking much. And then they say the same thing over and over. It's either, oh, there's nothing but men in this party. Are you gay arisen? Or, oh, there's nothing but women in this party. Are you a pervert arisen? It's like, shut the fuck up. They say the same thing every single time. Now, in Dragon's Dogma 1, this is also a plus for Dragon's Dogma 1. In Dragon's Dogma 1, you can literally just go into the settings and put a muzzle on them like a dog. You can literally just turn off pawn chatter. Now, in this game, for some weird reason, you need a specialization for them to shut the fuck up. And again, downgrade, but I cannot stop talking about pawns until I talk about my thick ass pawn, mountain of a woman. Oh my God, big ass, big titties. Just look how cool she is. Here she's wrecking the fuck out of one of them rock lizard things. Just really rode them around town. Now she's beating the hell out of the homeless. This is the Seattle homeless right here. Yeah, Gothica, clean up the streets. Yeah. Right here, she sprays herself with oil. She's silly sometimes. Right here, she throws me at the Cyclops, completely misses. Want me to be safe, I understand. She pegs the hell out of a goblin right here. God damn, he like it though. Throws me up. Boom. Stuff like that is so cool in this game. And right here, she's pegging another goblin. She has a thing for it. She has dick envy. All right, let's talk about the bosses now. Now, in typical Dragon's Dogma 2 fashion, they get rid of some bosses and they fuse some bosses together to make one new boss, quote unquote new boss. Like for example, the big cock monster, the big dick monster, the cockatrice, it's a chicken that turns you into stone. So they got rid of him, and then they got rid of the Hydra, which is a 6-headed snake. But then they gave us Medusa. It sounds like they made those two bosses from Dragon's Dogma 1 breed and make the Medusa. And so we have the Medusa. And to be fair too, Medusa I think is a new boss. I think the Minotaur's a new boss, and I think the Headless Horseman's a new boss. And I keep saying think because I thought for the longest time the Sphinx was a new boss, but turns out she was in Dragon's Dogma 2 online. Titties and all, titties and beauty and all. She was in Dragon's Dogma online. I think I said Dragon's Dogma 2 online. I meant Dragon's Dogma online. Now, to be fair, short of rehashing and they're like, no new ideas. They're not giving us new ideas, but the Sphinx is actually really fun. It was a really fun and dynamic fight for me. I failed one riddle and I said, fuck it, I'm just gonna beat her ass. So I latched onto them titties like a newborn and I went to town, and then she got mad at me and she was shooting like little needles and stuff at me, flying around the arena. It was honestly very, very fun. That kind of brings us to Grigori. Oh, I'm not gonna spoil the ending, but oh my god, it sounds like I'm about to say good things about it. I hated the new Grigori fight. The one in Dragon's Dogma 1 is just way better, and it has layers to it too. It wasn't just, oh, go through the arena and fight him. No, it was like, he's gonna chase you, you're gonna fly on his back, then he's gonna do some other stuff, then he's gonna tenderly kiss you on the lips, then you say, dude, what are you doing? I'm not gay. And then you fight him, and it's all jokes aside, it was insanely cool, and I thought they would double down on Grigori in Dragon's Dogma 2. I thought they would pump him full of steroids, give him some Adderall, and just go to town with that boss, but they didn't. They really let me down with the Grigori fight. Honestly, the Grigori fight is just the Drake fights, but honestly a lot easier. It's not fun, it's not great. Now, one cool thing is the Griffin ride-along. So like, a Griffin is like he's a chicken, he's a pussy. What he'll do if you don't kill it fast enough is he'll like just run away, and you can like latch onto his back and like just literally fly around like a huge portion of the map. Now, I wish that like if I'm latched onto his back and then he takes me back to his nest, or she, I guess it's a lady, and she takes me back to her nest, that I could find like insane loot. But again, there's not. We'll get into that. But it's still cool. You find stuff through their nest and then you can beat their ass at their home. Give them home field advantage and still fuck them up. It's really cool, and I like just seeing how like the world is being active even when you're not there. That is a cool thing. And so riding on the Griffin's back supplies that. And I guess that's the thing too. I would have loved to see more bosses. Like, what if they had like a giant spider boss that literally takes you to like if you're not careful, right? Or if you like stumble into a trap, it takes you to their lair, and like you get to like literally be dragged to their lair. Like, stuff like that would have been really cool. And again, stuff like that I would have expected after waiting 12 years. But again, I'll get into all of that as well. Now, the Gigantus fight, if you want to call it that, that's something that they advertised the game with. They was like, oh, you get to fight this big motherfucker, but he's not even after you. It's not a fight. It's not a boss fight. He just walks through like the world and causes problems like a fat person on an airplane. It's very boring and clunky, troublesome. I just didn't like it at all. I expected way more from that, and so that I don't even think I should even add that into this section. That shit sucked. Now let's talk about the enemies real quick, like the different enemies in the world. A lot of people say, oh, there's no variety and there's too many of them. I think the same thing for Dragon's Dogma 1. It's not just a 2 issue, it's a Dragon's Dogma 1 issue, but also it's an issue I understand. It's like, you're in this world, right? Goblins and bandits and wolves, those are like your normal everyday enemies, things you don't like. It's kind of like our influencers, we hate them, we don't want them, there's too many of them, and we don't want them anywhere near us, and they need to be destroyed. No, I'm fucking around, but yeah, it's like that. Like, I understand why like those are just typical enemies that you keep running into. Now, to be fair, if that's how your world is, it would be so cool if you just had legendary bosses, like more than just the Sphinx, right? But just have legendary bosses all throughout the world, maybe like, I don't know, 8 of them, and it's just these legendary monsters that you hear rumors about throughout the city. That would be cool, and then you can find them and beat their ass. The Medusa is that, to be fair, but the Medusa is nowhere near as good of a boss fight as the Sphinx. But I get what people are saying, but I understand it. Now, before leaving the bosses, I gotta talk about how the bosses storm the capital. They can sometimes like walk into the city and then cause a whole bunch of problems until someone tells them to stand down. Now, until you make them stand down. But yeah, the bosses can come into like the city, and it's not as good as Dragon's Dogma 1, because in 2, it's like they come into the entrance, and in the square where like you really fight them at, it's just not as spacious. But in Dragon's Dogma 1, you get like a whole like cornfield to fight them in. It's a lot less clunky. But I do think it's cool that like a boss can come into the city and just fuck up everyone's whole day. Now, on the topic of bosses still, we got to talk about boss dynamics. Like, so I'll be fighting like a ogre or a cyclops, and then out of nowhere Griffin comes down to help him out, to double team me, to spit roast my ass, and I hate it. A lot of people tried to sell the game as, oh my god, dude, the bosses are gonna fight each other kind of like Monster Hunter, and it's not like that at all. If there's two bosses, they're all gonna fuck you and your pawns up. It's just what it is. It sucks. Not just the bosses, but the enemies too. They will fuck you and your pawns up. They don't care about each other until you're dead, and I hate it. I think it's a missed opportunity, but I hate that like I bought into that, 'cause I was like, oh shit, that's so cool. I heard that like goblins will wake up a cyclops, and the cyclops will fight the goblins, but no, it just sees me and wants to eat my ass. It's so annoying. God, my throat hurts. Pause. But anyway, we're talking about the exploration now. The exploration in this game is undeniable that Dragon's Dogma 2 is the bigger world. It has two parts. It has the rocky sandy place, and then it has the lush forest and grass place. That's pretty much it. It all looks beautiful. It's just beautiful landscapes. Oh my god. I mean, I gotta admit, the BBL and the makeup, I'm a fan. I do like how Dragon's Dogma 2 looks. There's also ox carts in the game. Like they take you around pretty much the whole map. You can go from Vernworth to the checkpoint town to Bethal, and then Bethal to the checkpoint town to, Vernworth. Sometimes, like, while you're like fast traveling there, you can like fall asleep, and then what will happen is like, oh shit, it's goblins. Good thing I'm not a trickster. Good thing I'm not a pussy. Then you fuck up the shit. You fuck up the goblins, and then you hop back onto the ox cart, and then it takes you to wherever you was going. Now sometimes, and this sucks, sometimes the ox cart will break down. Like, they'll break the ox cart like with you fighting, and then the guy will be like, sorry, can't take you nowhere now, sir. And then you just gotta kick his ass. Well, how dare you talk to me? I'm the fucking Arisen, motherfucker. You better take me wherever I want to go. But it doesn't work like that, so then you just gotta walk the rest of the way there. There's also a thing too, like you can like literally see the ox cart on its way somewhere, and then you can just be like, yo, I'm like, give me a ride, and then he'll stop and be like, you gotta pay, and then you gotta be obedient, you gotta be a little pussy, whatever. All right, fine, I'll pay the money to get on the ox cart. That is cool. I gotta admit, the ox cart is cool. How the system works, it is kind of realistic, Now let's talk about the caves in the world. Pretty much mini dungeons. They're very, very, very shallow. Oh my god. This is a multiple layered issue, right? Because you can find a cave, right? And if you found like cool stuff in the cave, right? That would be nice, but you never do. Like, I don't think once. I think anytime I found something in a cave, it was weaker or looked worse than the equipment I already had. Or maybe it was like the same quality, sure. But it's just nothing. There's nothing fun to find. The caves are shallow and more shallow than Dragon's Dogma 1, by the way, but they're shallow and there's not cool shit to find. Now that's also in Dragon's Dogma 1, there's not really cool shit to find. The thing is, in this game, traveling is such a hassle. In a good way. I do like that they make you like travel and live through the world and like learn how to like get from A to B. Like there's times where I literally be like, oh yeah, I remember this marker, so I go this way, and oh yay, I'm here. That is cool. But after a while, it's like they're treating fairy stones almost like your loot. Instead of giving you like real interesting loot, it's like your fairy stones are the loot, and it feels like that too. Like you'll find a fairy stone and be like, fuck yeah, holy shit, they gave me a fairy stone, god damn it, yay. But then you find so many of them, and it's like, all right, can I get like actual legendary loot, epic loot? Can I get epic loot? Can I get like cool shit for actually finding this chest or going into a cave? And again, I think the lack of loot takes away from the caves, and it takes away from your pawn's help when she says, hey, I'm over here, yes I cheated, but I have a chest for you. It's like, bitch, I'm still mad. All right. But yeah, that's the exploration. The exploration isn't the best, it isn't the worst. I gotta admit, again, it's better than Dragon's Dogma 1 just because of how big the map is now, which, yeah, it's bigger, but it still feels not big enough. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because it's like the things that they do right in the game is like so right that it makes you craving for more. But I just want more from it, especially in the loot department too. As far as like how the world reacts to you, let's say you're in a city and you draw like blades in Dragon's Dogma 2, they're gonna hop on your ass, boy. They're gonna hop on your ass, boy, and they're gonna be like, hey, get the fuck out of here, you can't do that. And then you're like, oh, okay, my fault. Then you put away your swords, and then they'll put away their swords. In Dragon's Dogma 1, I tried that out, and just FYI, I was a black character. So in Dragon's Dogma 1, if they wasn't gonna attack me for bringing out my swords in Dragon's Dogma 1 as a black character, they wasn't gonna do it, period, man. I'm sorry, dude. Yeah, so that is a small improvement in Dragon's Dogma 2. However, it takes 2 steps back because I would kill people in Dragon's Dogma 2, throw them off a fucking cliff, throw them in the river, and I would never, not once, go to jail. But in Dragon's Dogma 1, you do some shit like that, you're going to the clink. You're going to the clink. You're getting your, don't drop the soap, nigga. You're going to run into the fucking butt bandit there. And again, that's just something that's like, it's just worse. It's just, there's no way to spin that. It's just worse than in Dragon's Dogma 1. It just is. Now, throughout the world, you can like find campsites, and then you got to kill all the enemies that surround the campsite to actually set it up. And like I said before, there's not much to really do. It's like you go to campsite, you suck on and you suck up, you eat, pause, you eat some, you eat some meat, still pause, and then you just go to sleep. There's no really like talking, there's no like stat building. You can swap skills within a campsite, that's a thing, I guess. But I only used it like for, okay, let me get a buff by sucking on this meat, and then let me also get some sleep so I can get my health back. Then that was it. Sometimes you get raided, but very rarely. I have 120 hours in the game, and I've only been raided maybe twice throughout the whole game. You're supposed to lose your campsites, but I never lost one, not once. And I don't know how you, that's the thing, I don't even know how you really lose it. So it's an added thing that's not in Dragon's Dogma 1, but it's like, all right, not worth 12 years. But it's, again, gotta be fair, it's in the game, at least, that's something. Now, the quests in this game are pretty damn cool, full of gossip, full of drama. There's like time mechanics where like, it's almost like Majora's Mask, right? Like where like you could fast forward time just so you can catch a person at this particular spot and then tell them whatever you need to tell them. I don't know how to explain it without like telling you like all the quests, because I don't want to spoil the quests. The quests are really cool. There's one where a beggar, he tells tales, and then he really tells tales. If you know, you know. But there are really cool quests in this game. I gotta give it to Dragon's Dogma 2. Really cool quests, but they drop off right at the coronation. If you haven't played the game yet, just know the black guy, Captain Brant, my nigga, if he talks about anything with a coronation, slow down, because after that it just seems like not all, but most of the side quests like just drop off, like they're done. And that seems like where the bulk of the content is as far as side quests go. But side quests, I love them. They're like really, they can be, not all the time, but they can be very intricate, very intricate. Yeah, good job on that. And one thing that I think is super cool, it's a small thing, but for like people like me, like I love it, right? If you're in Batal and it's raining, then you use a fairy stone and then teleport to Vernworth, it's not raining. And to me, that's really cool. I like how the two regions have different climates, I guess, or like different things are happening in like with the weather. It would be cool, it'd be way cooler if like Batal had like sandstorms and then Vernworth had like you know, like tornadoes, or in Batal there's like a dehydration status effect that you can get because it's so hot there, you know. And you know, Vernworth, we already got goblins throwing bottles of pee at us, I guess. I don't know if y'all see it, but like goblins throw bottles of piss at you, then you become drenched. But yeah, I don't know, I just wish they played more with the climates, but it is in the game, and I think that's really cool. Now, I've been avoiding the story because honestly, I don't know what the hell's going on. It's so confusing, it's not making sense. Now, to be fair, I'm a little lopsided in the brain. I'm a little lopsided in the brain. But really, seriously, Dragon's Dogma 2, as far as story goes, is just, it feels like a mess. There's people on Reddit who's like explaining it. I don't care that much, to be fair. And Dragon's Dogma 1, to be fair to Dragon's Dogma 2, Dragon's Dogma 1 had the same issue where it just seemed like the story was everywhere, but the ending was just so goddamn good. They explained everything and did it in a way that was, at least to me, very impactful. I walked away from Dragon's Dogma 1 sad. Just, you know, all the themes of like the cycle and stuff like that. I don't want to spoil Dragon's Dogma 1 completely, but just all the themes of that, they just executed that perfectly in Dragon's Dogma 1. And in 2, it just feels like it was rushed. As far as the ending goes, it just feels like it was rushed. There's a black guy, he's like a rival to you. He has the corny ass fucking typical video game sad dread black guy hairstyle. I hate that shit. Niggas, we've been begging them to stop doing it. Please give us something else, and they say no. Anyway, I bring this guy up because throughout the whole game, he's like trying to hit on you and flirt with you, like, yo, come on, fight me, do it, fight me. So then finally, I beat his ass, I turned him into a quadriplegic. Literally nothing was left, decimated. And somehow he's in the ending of my game. The story makes no sense, just makes zero sense to me. So yeah, that's why I was avoiding it. Now, just to be extra petty, I have very few miscellaneous things, but I do have miscellaneous things. First of all, the fashion in this game sucks. It looks horrendous. It looks not horrendous. It's just a lot of like the high level stuff is just way too bulky, you know, way too overly armored. There's less equipment slots than in Dragon's Dogma 1. In Dragon's Dogma 1, you had armor and clothing slots. This time, you only have armor slots, and it's like, man, let me take some clothes off. Let me take some clothes off my gothic queen. And I think that's it. Oh, there's also a quest board in Dragon's Dogma 1, but to be fair, I think that quest board moved over to like the pawn quest thing. I think that might be better to some people. I don't know how I feel about it, but those are just some small things. I also missed the spin thing. So like if wolves grab you up, you can like spin your analog stick and then be released, or if the harpies grab you, yeah, if the harpies grab you, you can also do the same thing and then they'll drop you. That's completely gone from Dragon's Dogma 2. And another thing, please, the meat, the how good and high def the meat looks pisses me off. It's almost like a taunt, like, yeah, look at the meat. Isn't this a great sequel? Don't you love Dragon's Dogma 2? We have realistic meat. The only meat I'm concerned about is my own, bitch. We don't need the meat. We don't need the meat looking like an actual like slab of ribs. It's so fucking corny. I hate it. And I hate that people like it too. Now, some people in the Reddit were saying like, the criticism in this game comes from unrealistic expectations for the game. Now, my expectations were very slim. I wanted bigger and better bosses, which I thought we would get with Gigantosaur, whatever the fuck his name is. He sucks. I thought we'd get a bigger and better world, which to be fair, they gave us. I thought we would have more immersion. The game's immersive, but imagine if like you could slip while you're in rain and stuff like that. I know, and maybe it's a weird me thing, but that's like immersion. Imagine too, like you hear like a rumor of like a monster that stalks its prey during the night, and every time it's nighttime, you can like feel that presence, stuff like that. Again, the immersion is here, but it could be way better. What people fail to understand that it's been 12 years since the first game, right? And they've been working on this game for 5 years. So we're thinking, fuck, 5 years worth of work that we're gonna be able to enjoy, but just no. I also wanted a better pawn system. Again, the pawn system is better, but imagine again, like you're at a camp and then you can kind of like talk to your pawn, maybe even teach it, like actually teach it skills, like be like, okay, I'm like vocation 10 in archery, right? And then you can like show your pawn like how to be an archer so they can level up faster, stuff like that. And then that also grows like Yaw's Infinity, stuff like that would have been so cool, but they just didn't deliver. They really did not deliver. Now, the thing is, the game is hyped up because of not only Itsuno's vision that people have been talking about for 12 years straight, but also his interviews. Now, the thing with Itsuno's vision is like, there's just a lot of claims that like just made it seem like a humongous world. Like if you go through the Reddits, like back then, like maybe like 6, 7, hell, even like I think like maybe 9 years ago, there's just some claims where it's like, oh, this sounds like a dream game. Now, through those claims, you can see some of it in Dragon's Dogma 2, but when you just talk about Itsuno's vision, like we're talking about going to the moon, talking about another world, apparently a tower that goes to heaven. You don't even have to die anymore. You can just waltz up in there and say what up to God. It's just like, it's just crazy. It's just crazy claims. Apparently there was a rumor like 70% of the game was like cut out, but no one's like really like saying, oh yeah, it was 70%. No, for real, trust me. No one's saying that. So, but it's just like, you see how like these like claims is going to make the game just hype as fuck. And then we didn't even touch on his interviews yet. His first interview is about his vision. So let's take a look at that. In this interview, he doesn't say much, but he just acts like he is the man. He said, yeah, you know, I mean, I've been waiting a long time for this, and niggas finally wisened up. Let me do my vision. I'm that nigga now. He thinks he gets the pass. He does not. If he gave us a great game, he would get the pass. But what he says, right? He says NPCs are super detailed or insanely detailed, and that sometimes like the Arisen can make 2 NPCs fall in love with them, and then they'll fight. Like he said, and this is Ned. This sounds gross. But he said the NPC will come to the Arisen's house to play. Ooh, nasty. But he said they'll come to play, and then someone else might come to play, and then they'll fight like for your love, and then you can like break it up or make them fight to the death. He didn't say that part, but I could just assume that's what I mean. If you don't stop them, what happens, right? But none of that happens. That in my playthrough, that never happened once. Actually, I've seen 2 NPCs cross, and they just never fight. It was just like, okay, they just kind of ignored each other. So, I mean, that's a lie right there. In the comments, they're calling him Japanese Todd Howard. No bullshit. That's exactly what they're doing. So, I mean, if this was his vision, I mean, well, he just lied. He just lied. And also, too, going back to the Reddit, I mean, reading through those old Reddit posts gets me hyped. That's why I was probably hyped for this game. Oh my God, just the ideas and proving, like these are proven things that was supposed to be in Dragon's Dogma 1, but for whatever reason, it got cut. Sure, it probably isn't 70%. That sounds insane. But it's a lot of things. It's a lot of things. I'll maybe put some posts up, but I implore you to look it up yourself, for real. Look it up yourself. It's just insanity how much like was supposed to be in Dragon's Dogma 1 and that still isn't here in Dragon's Dogma 2. One of the things that really irritated me was the Sphinx interview. It's Itsuno, and then he has this other guy where I don't know their relationship, but they look like an amazing couple. And they pretty much just say like, yo, there's so much in this game. Like they talk about the Sphinx and how like crazy and sexy she is, and she is hot. But then they say like, yeah, and it's not just a Sphinx. You can like, there's things that like you just won't see. There's characters you just won't see. And then like Itsuno literally pauses the interview and says, no, for real, look. There's going to be things where you don't have to find, but if you find them, you're going to be so moved. And it's not just a Sphinx. That's what he says. And I can tell you guys from experience that there's nothing in this game like the Sphinx. Like, there's nothing even hidden like how the Sphinx is hidden. Like, the Sphinx is the only like thing that's like, whoa, this is so crazy and grandiose. Wow, that's the only thing in this game that is on that level. So they didn't say, oh, we're gonna have all these bosses like the Sphinx. To be fair, they didn't say nothing like that, but they heavily, and I mean heavily, implied that, yeah, like this game is gonna be game of the year, get your butthole ready. That's how they made it seem, and they did not deliver. Side note, I'm glad that I'm not the only one who thought the Sphinx was hot. When I first seen her back, I don't know, when the game first got announced, I was like, come on, do I admit that I wanna crash that thing? What I'm pretty much saying is that Capcom used Itsuno's vision as a marketing ploy. They seen that we knew that Dragon's Dogma 1 wasn't like fully realized, and so they used that as like, oh well, this time in Dragon's Dogma 2 it is realized, and it wasn't. Now again, I gotta say, Dragon's Dogma 2 is a great game. It is very fun, but at the same time, I just feel like I was tricked by Daddy Capcom. They lured me down a dark alley and had their way with my wallet, and I'm pissed off about it. There's just too many times in Dragon's Dogma 2 where I'm like, man, this is so fun. Then I stop and think, and I'm like, yeah, but wasn't that in Dragon's Dogma 1? And no sequel should make you feel that way. Now, people might ask, well, how is the sequel supposed to make you feel, CJ? And to them, I say, look at Remnant 1 to Remnant 2. Look at Red Dead 1 to Red Dead 2. Look at Halo 1 to Halo 2. Look, I mean, there's so many sequels out there that actually upgrade the game. Now, there's a lot of videos on YouTube saying, things I wish I knew before buying Dragon's Dogma 2. And if I made one of those videos, the very first thing I would say is that Dragon's Dogma 1 Dark Arisen is $30. Then the second thing I would say is that game is normally on sale for $8. You save so much money. To me, right, if you haven't played either of them, just grab that. I mean, fuck, $30 to $70, and then again, $8 to $70. It's a no-brainer. But I just want to say thanks for watching this video, guys. Leave comments in the comment section. Let's actually talk, not them bullshit comments like, oh, cool video, or oh, shitty video. Well, hey, you can, if it's shitty, you can say that too. But let's just actually talk. It would be fun. So let's do that. Thanks for watching. Bye bye. See you. Bye. See you. I'm done.